Now we'll go straight into it, bro. Like, just tell us about yourself. Like, what's your name? Like, what you do, all that stuff. What you like?
Okay. So my name is Fred Wremmo, and I really enjoy making, I guess, concept art. I enjoy playing a lot of basketball. I go on a lot of walks.
Oh, you's a hooper?
Of course. Always happening. Yeah. And I like to read more than people think. The only thing people don't, I guess, know about me is that I like to study a lot. It's like the main thing I do. But that's not just exclusive to art. It's like whenever I find an interest in something, I study it and I approach it like a science. And I think you'll start to understand that when we get further into the questions. But you'll see what I mean. But yeah, that's me on the, I guess, a layer beneath the surface level.
Okay, smooth. No, that's what's up. I didn't know you was hooper, but now that I think about it, I think I played you in like Island Park like a long time ago with.
A long time ago.
Who's that other guy that be drawing? He's Nigerian.
Franklin.
Yeah. You ever hoop with him?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Recently, I know they go to the Y and hoop at like 5 a.m.
Okay.
And I've been joining them recently every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
See, because that's where I feel like I remember you now. Because like, I don't know if you know like Nishat.
I don't think so. No.
Okay, never mind. That was a long time ago though. But no, that's what's up though. So like, how long you been like in this area?
Since 2015, I do think. In Fargo?
Yeah.
Since 2015, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And then where'd you say you was from again?
That's a tough question to answer.
Because like you
family, family moved around a lot. I'll say Virginia because I spent the longest amount of time there, like the second most amount of time there aside from Fargo.
Oh, you say you sound like you far.
Yeah, that's my fault. I had it like done.
No, that's all good. Yeah.
No. I would say that's a hard question to answer because my family moved around a lot. The place I tend to say is like wherever we were from before we came here. But the place that we stayed in the longest before coming here was Virginia. It was in Henrico. I think that's a county in Virginia. I'm not really sure. It was slightly outside of Richmond.
How long was y'all there for?
Till I was from 2003 until I was 12, because we moved when I hit about 7th grade. So yeah, from 2003 to 2000. Yeah, to 2012. Yeah, 2012. Yeah. So what is that? Like 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
What made y'all like move so much? Just like better life type.
My dad was like a truck driver, and so he wasn't really like there a lot of the time. So I don't know why we lived in Virginia. I was really young at the time when we moved because we moved from Africa. So yeah, we stayed in Virginia for the most part, and then I think he found better work to where he could be with us in Georgia and be in the house, and so I think that's like the main reason we moved.
That's smooth. So then like when you came up here, like, did you come by yourself or like?
No, my family moved up here, and then they moved back down to Kentucky a little while after. Yeah, and I stayed up here for college and everything.
So like, out of all the places, like, where do you identify with more? Like Virginia, probably.
It's probably here. I've been here the longest, and I like this place. But it's also because I'm old enough to explore this place on my own. Everywhere else before I was too young. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
facts.
I came up here and I was like just getting into high school to where I could walk around and go to places by myself. Back everywhere else, I was too young. Especially in Georgia, I was like way too young to be roaming around the streets inside Georgia and just going to see what's around. And in Virginia, I was definitely too young. Like I only knew my school and like the green grass area, like next to my house.
Okay. No, that's smooth. So, like, what is it about here that you like? Because, like, a lot of people, like, they live here, but they're like, oh.
I can understand why they don't like it because of the snow and everything. That's, like, the only downside, in my opinion, just the weather, specifically during, like, the harsh part of the year, so, like, 70% of the year. But I like that it's small enough to where you can kind of access everything without needing to constantly be in a vehicle, but also big enough to where it seems just spread out enough to where things are just slightly out of reach. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not like a very compact area. It's good. The way I like to describe it is like it's a perfect place for like jogging everywhere, like realistically, or like taking the bus everywhere, or even better, a perfect place to bike. because during the summer you can really bite to everything happening in Fargo.
That is facts, though. That is facts.
Yeah, like that's the main reason I like this place. Kentucky, whenever I go back down there, is so large. Like I mentioned earlier that like I play basketball here now, and that's like just at the Y, and that's like right across the street from me. But like even before, when I was living with my parents up here, like we used to go to like Stonebridge Park all the time, and I was like just across the street from where I live. Like it was like a small hop, skip, and a jump away. So I was like, yeah, it was good enough to where I could always have something to do. And I used to walk myself to the library at the time, right on 32nd. I'd get some food from the family fair there, and then I'd go play basketball. So it's just nice enough to where I don't always need someone to take me somewhere whenever there's something to do.
Damn, I think maybe you just got lucky, bro. Because like I remember living like by Eagle Run. You know what that is? Yeah. Like before like they started developing the place, and bro, it was like there was nothing. Like you really got to walk to like get anywhere, because they hadn't done 52nd, they hadn't done 32nd. Yeah. So I don't know if you was there.
I came. I think right when everyone started to migrate, like around here. I think
that's facts.
That might be a reason why my family moved up here too. Because like when I came, there's a whole bunch of like Liberians and like Somalians immigrating up here. So we just had this giant community form out of nowhere that we could all just be a part of.
So then, like, how long you think you finna like stay?
Oh, I'm leaving next year. Like, it's already set in stone because I know what college I want to go to get my master's. And I'm just waiting for one more year because I want to take a small break, but also teach at that college at the same time. So I'm waiting until they open up the assistantship teaching position.
Okay.
And so I'm going to apply next term.
Okay, that's smooth. So then, like, how were you able to, like kind of, because, like, you was, like, how old when you got here? Like, 15?
15, yeah. 14, 15, 16. One of the three.
So then, like, how were you able to, like, kind of cultivate, like, your identity when you was here?
I don't know. A large part of it kind of hinged on me. So when I first came up here, I had a large part of my personality during that time was, like, being the smart kid. Because when I first came up here, I was transferring from not a normal school, like not a normal high school. I was coming from Gwinnett School of Mathematics, Science, and Technology. And just a backstory on that school, they were like, I think when I went, they were ranked number 4 in the nation for STEM schools. It is a private school, but you could get in as a public student. So what I did was I had to get a couple letters of recommendation, and then I had to take a couple different tests ranging from, I think it was like the SAT, like a practice SAT.
Right.
And if you scored well enough on that, this is really, really stupid, but they would put your name and stats on top of like
a lottery, right?
Yeah, lottery, and then they draw it. And I was like, that's the dumbest part of that entire selective process. Why have me go through all that if you're just going to leave it up to chance?
Right. Facts. Facts.
But they were a great STEM school, and they accelerated your learning progress. Like I remember being a freshman and I was taking physics, engineering, chemistry, biochem.
And like you was like doing
calculus,
okay?
And I was doing terribly. It was not even close. Like at least the first semester, it was really, really bad the first semester because it was just such a big jump from coming from a normal school. And like the school I was going to in Georgia either, like it wasn't necessarily the middle school I was coming from. It wasn't the best middle school. So like the curriculum change is insane. But I adapted. And this is also where I got into like video game art and art in general, because they showed me a 3D modeling class that they had there, and it was all about modeling for heart. It was for heart structure modeling, heart face modeling for video game development, and I got to use professional software for free at the school, and I got pretty good at it. And I was like, I want to do this. This is where my passion for video game art came from. But after I left that school, after basically suffering through their entire curriculum, I came up here and I was like, their program was so much easier because they were they were behind basically. They were doing stuff that they expected me to already know when I came in to their school. So I got up here and most of my credits were already done.
Damn.
So I literally just had to finish up my English classes and history classes because those were on the back burner at a STEM school.
Right.
So I finished that and I didn't really have many serious quote unquote classes to take throughout the rest of high school. So
then, like, did you graduate early or did you just?
No, I just stayed and just
took
my time with electives. Yeah.
Bro, that's what's up. Actually, you know, it's like I think a lot of people kind of pick up whatever. Like, I feel like a lot of people are drawn towards more negativity, right? And so, like, when they get up here, it's like they just pick up whatever is there. And so I usually ask that question because it's like it's kind of surprising to me how somebody will just be able to like kind of like sift through all these different ideas to come up with like their own like unique personality. You feel me? So that's why I'm like, I had to ask that question. You feel me? So like what allowed you to like just stay focused on like what you was trying to do or what you wanted to be? Or
I really wasn't. So I can't say I wasn't. Like I knew what I wanted to do, but what I wanted to do was a second thought to what I needed to do in my head. So like in my headspace, like I said, I came up here and my identity was being the smart kid, right? And so I would just put on that, I guess, like front because that's what people knew me as. So I would constantly be the person that was the smart person in conversations. And then eventually, as you
hold on, but like, what did that look like though? Like,
it was just like it was very stereotypical. Like, it was, there's no other way to put it. It was very like front facing value. Like, I know any question you can ask me, go ahead and throw. I always have to like show. Like, it was very, for lack of a better word, boisterous. Like, I always felt like I needed to show that I knew more than someone. When in reality, like being a lot older now, looking back on that, that was stupid. Like how, I guess, I don't even know the words to describe this, but what is the word I'm looking for? How overt you are with how much you know is not a sign of actual intelligence. Like, it's like someone could be quiet and be incredibly intelligent. Someone could not say a word and be like, just because you say everything with confidence doesn't make it right. But that was like the main personality I had because I needed to fit in somewhere. But at the same time, I was also like incredibly quiet. Like I was loud when it came to knowing the answers to things, but I was quiet when it came to everything else. And that started to like shift and change when I got into a lot of like sports activities and extracurriculars. So like I started running track because my cousin York, he told me I needed to do track that year.
Man, that's good you had a cousin though.
Yeah.
Dang, that's right.
He told me I needed to do track that year, and that really helped because being around all the other people who were there, right, proved to me that you can be like, people are okay being themselves. Like, they don't need to fit into something, and you don't need to constantly be, you know, in this box to be a human being. In fact, that's not how we work. And so I was able to kind of like let go and start to become myself. To the point now where I'm just like, if someone asks me a question and it's not related to something I genuinely like care about or something I even like really know, my typical response would be, I could not tell you. Like I wouldn't, for lack of a better word, I don't care to tell you. Like, it's not something that's on the forefront of my plate that I think I need to know.
Right. That's what's up though. That's what's up. So then, that's what's up though. So like, were you always athletic, or did track really kind of help you get there? Or like,
this is a good one. I think I was always athletic. I just didn't know it because I was always relatively good at like jumping. But the only reason I got good at jumping and running was because, like, you know how African parents, and you get in trouble a lot, they make you pump tire a lot. They putting you through physical training, bro.
That's facts, though. That's yo, it's genetics. Like, nah, you don't understand, bro.
They're putting you through physical. So yeah, I got in trouble a lot as a kid, like a lot. So I think that was basically just like, I don't know, that basically worked my muscles before I got into any sports. Yeah. Not to mention, I played basketball too, even in Georgia. When I was in Georgia, they call it a boys camp because it was me, Austin Jr., and Frankie, and then all of us were the exact same age. I think Frankie was 1 year older than us, but all of us were around 11 to 12 to 13. So all of us were the same age, and each of us played basketball basically every time. Especially Junior and I, our day basically looked like we go to school, we would get done, we finish our homework at school, we get back, and we would immediately go outside and play basketball. And it got so like consistent that my mom bought us a basketball hoop for Christmas, and they set it up just right in front of the house, so we wouldn't even have to go anywhere. So every day we would just finish school, come in, play basketball for hours. So I think that also contributed to it too. Bro,
it sounds like your parents were like really, really, really supportive, bro. Like,
of course.
How does that? Because I don't know, that doesn't really sound like too typical, you know. But like, how was that? How was that kind of having parents that are like?
No, my parents were very, 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 very supportive. My dad always has a saying. He has a few things that like I go by, I always keep in my head. But the first one is that nothing's ever like difficult. Everything's just tedious. So it all just depends on the amount of time you put into something. So if you want to be able to do something, you need to understand that skill in that department is equivalent, or I guess what's it called? I can't even remember the mathematical term, but it's the opposite. It's equivalent to time sacrifice, basically. So if you want to improve at something, you need to put more time into it. It's correlated. And then, yeah, my mom was always just very, 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 very supportive of the things that I did. She always told me that there was no point in, especially like stressing about a lot of things, because stressing will only it'll just make you feel worse. You won't be able to perform. This was something she told me a lot when I went to GSMST that first semester. Because I remember sitting on that dining room table crying, bro, trying to do that homework.
Damn, bro. But it's like they want what's best for you, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, they definitely do. And they always told me that they don't really care what it is I do, just so long as that when I'm doing it, I'm truly doing it, right? Like, don't do something half-heartedly. Make sure that if you're going to pursue something, you actually pursue it.
Dang, bro. I want to go to like my next question. So like who? So number one, who told you to do art? You said it was off of that when you did the 3D renderings and stuff.
So I was doing art before that, but it's a bit of a strange. So the 3D renderings is what made me realize I wanted to do video game art, and there's kind of sections to how it goes. But when I first found art, right, I did it. I got into art off of like jealousy, basically. I had an uncle at this time. Well, when we first came from Africa, this was back when I was like 7 years old, right, when we were living in Virginia. I had an uncle at the time, and I looked at him as an older brother because he came with us here and he lived with us, and he was still relatively young too. Like, he was in high school when we came. So, but I think he had an art assignment one day, and I'm pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure that he traced the picture, but I didn't know that. In my head, it looked like he drew that, and so in my head, I was like, well, if Anthony can do this, I want to be able to do this. And so I started learning how to like practicing drawing and stuff like that. And then there was another moment I remember just a little bit after this, to where I was watching Cartoon Network on the TV before school, and I think it was an episode of Naruto that came on, and it was the Rock Lee versus Gaara episode, and I saw the fight and I saw the animation,
monumental, bro.
And I was like, yeah, and I was like, I want to be able to do this, and it struck me, and I was like, I want to. Not like make it, but I wanted to like create my own characters at that time and tell the story. And so I started like drawing my own comics, my own manga, books. And a huge help to this, someone who kept me going through this. 'Cause I was terrible at this time. I still have one of those books, actually. It's in my bag, and I was looking back on it all the time. I was like, dang, I've come far. I was horrendous at the time. But my art teacher at the time, this man, he was like a blessing in disguise, because he told me to keep going. And when he saw how much I liked drawing and like doing comic books, he helped me make my own book. Like, he got the bindings and everything, and then he put them together, stitched it all together for me, and then he would do this consistently. So we made like 2 or 3 books, and then even after I left elementary school and went to middle school, he would like send me books.
What was his name?
Mr. Shervinack. I'll never forget.
Yeah,
Mr.
shout out to Mr. Shervinack. Yeah, no, that's smooth, bro. I remember I had this one art teacher, bro. What he would do is he would recruit like people to like do art. Like, he would train people personally, bro. So I was like, yo, I must do art, bro. I was like, bro, like, you think you can like show me how to do art? He's like, what are your grades? I told him my grades. He's like, nah, get out of here, bro. I was like, dang. And I failed one of his art classes. So, like, I just let the art thing go, bro. But it's good that you had somebody to, like, yeah, bro, it's good at... And, you know, this place is a small town, so I'll be seeing, bro. I'll be like, there's nothing to say. You feel me? But Mr. Sherman seemed like a cool dude, so that's
He's a great guy, yeah.
So then how did your parents feel like, oh, I want to do art?
Well, they didn't even know I wanted to do... I didn't even choose I wanted to do art until my freshman year of college. So a lot of people don't know this because they thought I've always been good. I stayed the exact same level in art until about my freshman year of college, because I was more focused on STEM things.
Right.
I wanted to be, at the time, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, like an astrophysicist. And then I realized that like I'm just not interested in it in the same way of how I'm interested inside my artwork. And I realized that if I wanted to do art like professionally, I had like a sudden wake up call to where I realized I couldn't just keep living in like blissful ignorance, right, and not actually taking it seriously. So the whole like a lot of people, and I don't blame them for this because this is how art is looked at, but a lot of people always believe that art is just something that you can do. Like, they don't think you can learn it. They don't approach it in the same way they approach like math or science, right? So the way I like to explain to people is that in math, you learn how to count first in elementary school. And then further on in elementary school, you learn how to add, you learn how to subtract. Then you learn multiplication, you learn division. And as you keep building upon that, eventually you're able to do algebra, you're able to do calculus, using the things that you've learned from previous years, right? That's how it works. It seems very straightforward. Art is the exact same way. It's just a lot harder to decipher because people don't have it being told to them at face value that you do with like mathematics, right? So with art, it's like you need to learn how to. Firstly, you need to learn how to like control your own hand. So you need to build your dexterity. Can you draw a straight line? Can you control your pen pressure? Can you see in perspective? Can you see in value? These are just things that you train that don't even involve drawing, that more involve your actual just hand-eye coordination, dexterity, your actual artistic eye. And then you build upon that to go, okay, can I draw shapes now? Now can I take these shapes and turn them into forms? Now can I isolate the forms? It's stuff that you learn on top of each other, the same way how you would learn how to add and subtract, and then apply that to an algebra equation. It's the same way how you learn how to see form, how you apply your line dexterity to a larger illustration. And so I had that like realization that I wasn't really studying how to do all of this stuff. I was really only making excuses for myself and saying, oh yeah, I draw in this way, or like I can only draw like cartoons, so like of course this person will be better because they can draw realistic stuff. And I was like, well, none of that matters because all of these art styles originate from the exact same principles. And if I study these principles, I could be able to emulate all of these. And that's the difference between someone who wants to be a professional and someone who is a hobbyist. Like a professional accepts the fact that all of these things come from the same building blocks, and they study those building blocks, and they study those building blocks in order to reverse engineer these things that are later down the road. And a hobbyist will just accept the fact that, oh, this is how I draw an eye. There's no changing that. And I was a hobbyist for a long time. I was a hobbyist who had dreams of being a professional. But when I decided that I needed to be a professional, I officially like had that brain swap moment, and where I started treating art more like a STEM subject, basically, and saying, what are the building blocks that make this up, and how do I study those and then improve?
So then, number one, because the reason why I asked who told you to do art is because typically that's not really what's pushed on like people. You feel me? It's like do what sells, right? Yeah. And so like, how did your parents feel like when they found out like you was doing art, all that stuff?
Like I said, they didn't really like care. Mm-hmm. Like my dad's biggest thing is that he wants a degree, right? He definitely wants, like all parents want a degree, right? But his biggest thing was that he doesn't care what the degree is in, so long as like I know why I'm getting it and that I'm making sure I'm putting it to use. It's that whole thing of, if you're gonna do something, make sure you actually do it. Like put your best foot forward. That was his entire thing. So he wasn't really, he was actually happier because he was like, I thought you wanted to do this, and I told him like why. Like it actually just wasn't gonna work out. And he was like, it makes a lot more sense and it's better for you. And my mom was the same way. Basically, they're very supportive.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up then. So then, pursuing art, what were some ups and downs?